I am honestly losing faith in humanity. The more that I'm on the internet, the worse it gets. So a lot of what we've been trying to do recently, I've been trying to make a lot more relevant content, stuff that's talking about current events, stuff that's talking about things that are actually relevant to both of us, not just some random nonsense. And because of that, it's meant that I've been on Reddit a lot more because I feel like the front page of Reddit very much is a great place to find what's trending, what people are talking about, the conversation, the haps, and so on. Something that I've noticed as a big trend, and I knew this was going on, but I'm just seeing a lot more of it now that I'm exposing myself to it, is the sheer stupidity of content creators and people trying to get views and engagement on the internet. Now, I hate to say it because I think about myself in this category as well as a content creator. I think about the influence I have on people and being cautious of the things that I'm doing. But there are just so many content creators that just make me give up. And I mean, they both make the, it's frustrating. You know, on one hand, I'm like, oh my days, I don't want to be playing into this. On the other hand, it's the whole reason why we started these channels to begin with. Because the whole point was that I was seeing negativity being enforced and encouraged to people by content creators, and I wanted to challenge that. I wanted to do better. However, oh my days, it just keeps getting worse. I don't know if you've seen, there's an influx of people who are live streaming while driving because apparently a bunch of people I don't know, maybe got forged licenses or like I don't know how they got their licenses, but they obviously didn't do the same driving tests and things that I did because I feel like um, being focused on the road and you're driving is kind of driving 101. So trying to put in an interactive chat that you then have to monitor with potentially hundreds of people in it while you're driving a car. How many have these people crash constantly? These people crash constantly. Because most of them aren't doing it with like a second person in the car, as far as I can tell. A lot of them do. A lot of them do, and still crash. So they might just be bad drivers to begin with. But it's just like, my guy, you are. Oh, I don't get why these streamers and content creators are all people who have audiences that look up to them. You know, and they're people who will be influenced by their actions and their decisions. So why would you do something so insanely reckless? I know a lot of people justify it as just, oh, well, I'm an adult, like I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this satirically or whatnot. I'm doing this at my own risk. I'm not encouraging this to other people. But unfortunately, that's you have to have a slither of like responsibility, a slither of like common sense to realize that it doesn't matter whether or not you're actively encouraging this to other people. The second that you do something and you display it to like 3 million people, of which probably 80% are children, those people are going to be influenced by your action. It's why they're called influencers. Hey, the clip that kind of sparked me today is I'm on r slash live stream fails, and I've seen a clip, and honestly, I can't find any other information on Google about this clip or this incident, so I have no idea of saying if this was one recent event, two whether it's even real, because for all I know, it could just be some fake video. But it's titled, if you want to find it, you can Google French streamer got chased by the cops for shooting off fireworks in the street. Right? I'll link it in the description below as well, so you can actually see it. But I I look at incidences like this, and I kind of just go, if this is real, and I'm not showing it just because I'm not really clued in on all the copyright laws when it comes to just streamers reacting to pre-recorded content. But the video basically shows a guy with what looks like a high-powered Roman candle shooting off fireworks into the street. Now, the video shows a chat overlay on the right hand side. Now, I don't know if that is just something that's pasted in. Again, I don't know if it's doctored or if it was actually a live stream, but it just makes me wonder. This guy or girl, the video's kind of it's not very clear, But they're shooting off high-powered fireworks in the street. To begin with, that's stupid. It's reckless behavior. Looking at the power of these fireworks, you could cause some serious damage doing this. I, in the past, have, played around with sparklers. Things like made pretty displays of sparks and whatnot. But if I ever did that, I did it at the beach, near water. Somewhere I wasn't going to light someone's house on fire. You know? And even then, like, we did it only when there weren't fire bans. We did it in responsible sort of activities. We took all of our rubbish and such with us. Nobody got hurt. Environment wasn't hurt. We were smart. This is just reckless and it's dangerous. And on top of that, this individual is actively doing something reckless, dangerous, and illegal, and they're doing it while live streaming the evidence. And it just kind of makes me go, why are people intentionally breaking the law and doing things that are dangerous just for views and for clout? Like, this individual probably did this. They would have advertised that they were going to do it so that they could get lots of views and whatnot. Looks like the video has a subs goal, which has been fulfilled. And I'm just kind of like, my guy, why? It's this, it's this desire to get seen. This desire to do something shocking enough that people want to get around it. People want to see it. Because those views, those sweet views, equal money. And I'm just like, Oi. I live in Western Australia, and there's a content creator. I'm fairly certain they're a child. So as it is, I already am a little bit iffy about them making content, because they are underage. And there's a lot of dangers to making content online, especially underage. But this child, his content is completely around just being a menace, you know, at the shopping centres, jumping in the ponds to just make a scene, jumping over the counters at McDonald's and serving himself. And I just look at this content and I go, you are literally one of the worst. This is dramatic, but I'm going to say it. These individuals making this kind of content are kind of the worst people in our society right now, because they're people who are actively trying to just screw with everybody else with a complete disregard for any of the people around them, for the sole reason that they know that the more damage and the more chaos that they cause, the more views that they're going to get and the more that they're going to get paid. Because the rest of us people who are trying to just live life normally and respect one another, we see that content and it's enamoring. We are so attracted to it because we know this is messed up and we'd never do it ourselves. So when we see other people doing it, we're like, oh my days, like this is, oh wow, this is so cringy, this is so hard to watch, but like I'm attracted to it because I know that it's taboo, because I know I shouldn't do this personally because I have common sense. And I look at all of these videos and I go, what are we doing? What are we doing? Even in the gaming space, like this is starting to delve into more pop culture than it is gaming. I'm sorry, chat. But like even in gaming, there's so many people who will intentionally play games with the sheer desire of making other people's lives difficult, griefing, and being an absolute nonsense because it's funny. Because they know that people are going to watch it because other people don't have the guts to do that behavior themselves, because they know it's inappropriate, it's disrespectful, and they wouldn't like it if people were doing it to them. But they'll watch other people do it because it's exciting. I don't know. I don't know how to feel anymore. I'm honestly more and more concerned about what we're seeing as each and every day comes by. Just, am I wrong? Am I overreacting? Because look, I'm all for, a bit of a prank on a friend, a bit of tomfoolery and a bit of fun, but I just feel like people nowadays don't seem to know how to find the balance in joking about but knowing when enough is enough. You know, when we play Rust, we will, we'll raid, we'll, inconvenience other players to have a laugh, but we'll know when to stop. We'll know when to say, good game, like, it's been fun all round. Hey, do you need some resources to get back on your feet? Like, here's some stuff. Like, we're all fun in games, and we know there's a balance. The fear that I have is that with social media being as prevalent as it is now, which is why I kind of supported the social media bans. I don't think that they did the bans right. It shouldn't have been a hard ban. It should have just been more appropriate restrictions, but not a full ban, because now young people are just shunting the ban and just ignoring it, which means that they've opened themselves up to more dangers because, as far as content creators are aware, there's less children on the platforms, but in actuality, it's just more children who are bypassing any of the pre existing filters. But with this level of just content and influence on our young people, telling them that this behavior is okay, we're going to see an influx of young people turning into young adults who think that this is okay because they were trained from a very young age to think that this is an okay way to act. And that concerns me. I did a couple studies in uni on social learning theory. The theory goes that, especially at a young age, people soak up information based on what they see around them. The best example of this, and I can't remember the name of the individual who did the original study, so I'm so sorry. Somebody correct me in the comments, please. But it was a study with a clown. It was a blow up clown. And they study put, I think it was like 20 children in a room with toys and this clown. And 10 children saw their parents come through, hug the blow up clown, play with some toys, and then leave the room. And then you saw the kids mimic that behavior. They were respectful with the toys, they were kind with the blow up clown. And the other 10 children were shown the same sort of scenario, still with the toys and the clown, but a parent or an authority figure would come through and they'd, bash on the clown, they'd beat it up, and they'd toss toys around. And then the behavior that you saw from those kids who saw that was 100% the same behavior. It was violence towards the clown. It was being rough with the toys. And there's a lot of other studies that have gone on around this that show that up until the age of about 16, 17, you soak up your environment and everything around you like a sponge, aggressively picking up your own behaviors based on what you see. So that's where things like social media and modern day media have always been scary, right? I didn't have social media when I was a child, but I still had TV on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and we'd watch cartoons and whatnot. My parents were cautious of what I watched because they knew that the things that I watched I would shape who I was, right? Nowadays, with social media, we throw kids in front of an iPad. We have no idea what they're seeing because they're scrolling through, 5 videos per minute. Chances are they're seeing a ton of ridiculous content like this, which a child cannot differentiate as parody or satire. And so they're being shaped to understand this as, this is appropriate. This is how I should behave. Because this is how other people behave. So many people on the internet behave like this, so should I. Right? I don't know how to feel anymore. I'm going to keep trying my best to be a little light in the darkness that tries to encourage people to do the right thing and help them learn to be better. But there's just so much competition to that ideal. It fills my heart with joy anytime I see one of our viewers, one of our audience members, one of the people within our community, our brothers and sisters in what we're doing and what we're fighting for. When I see them saying stuff like, oh yeah, I don't get the appeal of this ridiculous thing, or yeah, no, I try to show kindness wherever I can, I sit there and I just go, thank you. Thank you that there are people out there who are in this with me, trying to make the world a better place. Thank you. Because there's not enough of us. There's not enough people trying to do well. And I think it's scary. It's really scary to think of what this next generation is going to become because these are the influences they've had. I'm not saying that every young person is going to become a problem, but I'm certainly saying that it is turning out upcoming generation into something that is unpredictable. Incredibly unpredictable. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I've been waffling for a while now. I'm gonna get out of your hair. God bless you. I hope that you're. I hope if you've watched this far, I hope that this kind of resonates with you and you can understand where I'm coming from, because it's a serious, serious topic, and I'm going to talk about it more in the future. Hey, I'd love to know your insights on it. I'd really love to. But until then, God bless. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And I'd love to hear from you. So please comment down below, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. And I'll see you in the next video.